My fellow bad guys, I, Lex Luthor, your leader, will speak now about my, Lex Luthor's plan. My villainous plan. Question the plan at your peril.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. We've talked about it. Time for that Inferno preview, essentially. We've got the trailer that came out. We had a little bit of interview with Jonathan Hickman where he had touched on Inferno, as well as some images that came out, a couple of covers, as well as some interiors. And here to talk to me about that is the X-Men historian, the Marvel aficionado. Doc, how you doing?
I'm great, dude. Kind of bittersweet to be talking about the end of Hickman and his final real X-Men event when we feel like we've never really gotten to his X-Men.
Yep, so this will be starting, I believe, on September 29th, so it's at the end of this month. It'll be running through the end of the year, probably right into 10 Lives of Wolverine, 10 Deaths of Wolverine. We know that Jonathan Hickman helped lay out the foundation of what the next few years are after this, but he's not going to be involved in it anymore. He just put out the ideas and a roadmap. Whatever the X-Men office does, is up to them. So I'm personally excited about Inferno. I think it's going to be great. We are getting different artists. I think it's Valerio Schiti. We're getting Stefano Caselli and
RB Silva.
RB Silva. So I wish they had one artist, but obviously I like all three of those artists. Starting with Stefano Caselli, then RB, and then Valerio Schiti. But they're all perfectly fine. We got this big trailer that came out. I'm not always the biggest fan of Marvel trailers. This one didn't pop out as anything spectacular. What did you glean from this trailer about Inferno?
Honestly, there wasn't much new information. If you've been paying attention to the articles that they've released or the promo art that they've used as advertisements for the ones that are inside the book with those like 3 "you can't trust these people" images. There's not a lot of new material except for the fact that it's an admission. I think the biggest thing for hardcore X fans is an acknowledgement that this is the end of the Hickman era. Wherever it goes from here, you mentioned he did help map out the road, but considering that he wrote the first road and they entirely shit on it a third of the way through,
they took a detour.
It took a detour after the first, after the first stop sign. And so the likelihood that they'll actually follow it, good luck. I won't hold my breath, but no, there's not a lot of new material here. You got a couple of new images, and I know that they got released all as single images as well. And I think we're gonna look at some of those and discuss them as we go.
The trailer's fine, whatever. Marvel Comics trailers are not that interesting for the most part. Let's get into these images, and we'll talk about them individually. We first up have the big cover, Jonathan Hickman, Valerio Schiti, Trust No One, September 2021. This is a Jerome Pena cover. Love Jerome Pena. I hope that he works with Jonathan Hickman in the future. We've got Moira X, Mr. Sinister's on the ground, Nightcrawler's on the ground. Who else we got? We got Wolverine in there.
Storm, Kitty,
yes. Charles Xavier, Magneto.
Sebastian
it's like
Shaw.
Exodus.
It's basically the entire Quiet Council.
Mm-hmm. She appears to have murdered them.
Yep. And I think what it is it's an acknowledgement that no matter what happens to the Quiet Council, no matter what happens to mutant kind, Moira survives. Moira,
she's the linchpin.
Yes, she's the linchpin. Because even if she dies, she doesn't die. She just goes again. She just restarts. So yeah, she's the one that will always be left standing, no matter what happens. And I think that's what this cover's meant to imply.
Does this give you good vibes about Inferno? It does to me. I like it.
It gives me the vibes that maybe we're going to get an actual reboot of the X-Men because maybe everyone will die and so will she, and we can get the fuck away from plant people on Krakoa and drug dealers.
Well, you also thought that Children of the Atom was going to be the Chimera book. It turned out it was Elliot's.
Hey, look, I gave them too much credit.
You did. I was like, what are you talking about? This is just human kids using technology to. But we're beyond that. This is the 4th cover for Inferno, and we've got a half Mystique, half Destiny at a gravestone.
And I'm wondering whether or not this is a bit of a swerve. They're doing it as the shapeshifter is shapeshifting into half of her wife, but it could also be that this is a kind of split image of 2 different timelines, one where Mystique dies and one where Destiny dies. And
it's kind of weird though, because the belt is definitely Mystique.
Yeah, it is. So maybe again,
she's moving kind of from her upper left side down.
Yeah,
you can see she's changing.
She's just changing into her, to mimic, to look like her.
Maybe she's wife. At Destiny's grave, and this is, the impetus she needs to go and burn it to the ground.
I think so too. I think she's definitely standing at Irene's grave, and her empathy and her longing is kind of subconsciously making her shapeshift into Destiny. But I mean, it's still cool cover.
As far as modern covers go, this is cool.
Not bad.
It implies something about what you might see in the story, and it gets you intrigued.
Yeah, and that's rare these days.
There was another cover, but it's just literally Mystique like sitting on a couch. We're not going to talk about that one. Let's get into these interiors. We've got a good look at Wolverine here. We've got a Quentin Quire, Domino. So we got X-Force in the house. And who's this big thing that they're fighting here at the bottom?
I think it might be a master mold or a Nimrod master mold.
Certainly has a shape to it, doesn't it?
And the eyes with the purple, like kind of glowy eyes. It very much could be. I'm not seeing.
They're definitely going to the space station. You can see that out in space again. I didn't realize that up top.
Yeah,
that is Orcus.
Yep, that is the Orcus station. So they're back at the Forge again. Yep, again. And this time this time instead of sending the X-Men, they're sending X-Force. So
makes sense.
Yes, because they might go in a little, let's just say a little less showboaty, more Black Ops spy subterfuge than the.
Plus, they've been working together. They know who does what as far as the support and everything. But I think this is a great image. It gets yes, I'll take more of this.
Yeah, same here. I kind of like the way that Valerio Schiti does Wolverine's mask. I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but I do kind of like it with the shorter, stubbier ears.
Mm-hmm.
So
kind of fits him as a character.
Kind of Batman-y.
So this one, it looks like we've got a lighthouse burning down. We've got Moira X looking at a journal that says Project Cure. Moira McTaggart's on there. Ali Hallwell, Desmond Moore. I think that's Francis Gill. I can't read the top one. She's doing some type of investigation about something into her life and maybe something she missed. We know that she created a cure for mutantdom at one point in her life.
Yeah, in one of her previous lives, she cured mutation the same way that Kavina Rao did back in the Astonishing X-Men series that Joss Whedon did. But I feel like this is definitely kind of jumping. You're
feels
seeing,
like a flashback.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's a flashback or a flash forward. That's I think the point. This could be us seeing what's coming to Inferno. I feel like these might be flash forwards. Especially with the burning,
because we know when she does the cure, that's when Destiny shows up and with Mystique and essentially threatened to murder her.
Yes, and said, if you ever try this again, I will fucking kill you. And then told Mystique, if I ever die and they don't bring me back, kill them.
Kill everybody.
Yes. So yeah, I feel like this is a flash forward of what's coming based on what she's planning next.
Well, you can tell she's looking at a building that is burnt in the past. Like she's looking at the same building at different times, right?
Yeah.
It's on fire in one image and in the other one it's not.
Yes,
been overgrown.
Exactly. But if it's in, oh yeah, I guess you're right. That is definitely flashback. My bad. I was thinking more that it might have still been on Krakoa, and then, you know, it being wrapped up in fucking plants isn't really surprising. But then I realized this is all rotting metal in front of us that's overgrown. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. I'm wrong.
Listen, color me intrigued. These are all the things that I thought were really cool about House of X Powers of 10. What do we got here? We got Storm. Who have we got in the back? We got Emma Frost. We got Sinister, Exodus. Council. Yeah, the Quiet Council. And certainly Storm has taken on increased significance. I think she's the regent of Mars, which is the capital of Sol. Yep. And she's got some type of flower gift in her hands. I wonder who she's presenting that to.
Yeah, she's obviously putting a gateway somewhere. You know, a Krakoan gate.
It somewhere. Looks like they're welcoming someone.
Yes, probably some. And for all we know, it wouldn't surprise me if this is, you know, the return of Apocalypse. You know, he's been gone for a while. Him and his horsemen coming back.
I wish it was the return of Sabretooth. Sabretooth will let you out if you kill Mystique. That would be a good deal. It would be so within Charles and Magneto and what they've been doing too.
Especially since that's her ex-husband. So yeah, you know, kill your ex-wife so she can't bring back her dead dead wife. Yeah, I'd be down for it. But I feel
this looks like RB Silva to me.
Yeah, I think so. So
yeah, this is Valerio Schiti.
So what I'm wondering here is whether or not, instead of them doing individual issues, whether RB Silva's doing the stuff with this group of characters.
Maybe there's different timelines.
Yes. And Valerio Schiti's doing some with these characters on this timeline. You know, that would at least explain why we're getting 3 different artists for 4 issues, other than Marvel just being fucking cheap.
Yep. And so that one's, you know, perfectly fine. Less interesting than the others, but still got me excited. Here's the big one, though, right? We've got the Charles Xavier Cerebro mask. Yep. What it appears is that Emma Frost. It looks like Emma Frost to me.
Yeah, that's definitely Emma wearing Cerebro. Now, that's not entirely, I mean, out of the ordinary, especially whenever, because Jean had to wear it when they had to resurrect Xavier after X-Force, like, #1, when he got killed.
Well, in my world, Emma Frost is going to turn on everybody and try to use Mystique to kill off the rest of the Quiet Council so she can be in charge.
Oh, that would not surprise me at all. I'm just saying that it's not unheard of.
Maybe Charles has been taken out and now she's got the Cerebro helmet.
Yeah.
Her big turn.
Exactly. Jean's probably off in New York at their treehouse.
The treehouse.
So
cooking s'mores, have a little sleepover.
Yep. And putting up a "No Boys Allowed" sign or something. And so Emma's the one that has to resurrect. You know, she gets put in the position where she needs to run Cerebro, and then she's going to use it for her own, you know, gain. That would not shock me at all.
If she doesn't do a heel turn, I'm going to be upset. Well, like what Emma is this that wouldn't use this as an opportunity to take over?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've been kind of hinting at Emma needing, like, already being she needed convinced to even come here in the first place. They put her on the council to convince her. They gave her her own company, Hellfire Trading, as you know, they've basically been bribing her to be here and to stick around since basically day one. And
we know she just turned on Sinister.
Yep, she just turned on Sinister, and now that's not really surprising. She doesn't really like him. She never did. But yeah, I mean, she did. But so her using it for her own benefit, I mean, especially when not 3 years ago, she was back to being the well, they were trying to make her the Black King of the Hellfire Club. Fuck you, she was the Black Queen. I don't care what she claimed. but so yeah, she's been much more villainous in the past few years than she had been for a good long while. And her reverting to form would be surprising.
Let's move on to this last one. This is just Mystique with probably Krakoa burning in the background. There's almost nothing to glean from this one.
Yeah, there's really not. Now the trailer did have like somebody doing the voice of Destiny, kind of basically spitting off that exact same line. There will be an island, not the first but the last, blah 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 blah, burn it down. And now there was a few images in there that they didn't release here, especially with Destiny standing, so implying that she is up, like she does get resurrected at some point. But at the same time, we've already seen it could have been Mystique.
Maybe Emma's resurrecting Destiny.
Maybe Emma is resurrecting Destiny because she's not part of the group,
the little Illuminati,
with
group within the Quiet Council.
With Moira, Xavier, and Magneto.
Maybe that's what she says. I'll bring Destiny back, but you got to kill everybody once I do.
Yep, exactly.
And I'll bring back Sabretooth.
And that's her power play. That way they could be a little tripod. Yeah. Kind of like, except for
it's
Mystique
a milking
ends
stool, Doc. It's a milking stool.
Well, I was going to say Mystique ends up the one in the sandwich this time instead of Wolverine. Oh. But so, no, like I do like a lot of this. I'm curious whether or not any of the images that they did show of Destiny being up, like alive and moving around, are actually Destiny, or if they're Mystique, especially based on that one variant with Mystique, posing as Destiny.
I hope they're all 56 pages. I'll tell you that.
I think they're all supposedly 40 pages.
Better than 24.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because let's be honest. If this is the complete end of Hickman's era, there's a lot of stuff that has been point blank bad storytelling. I mean, there's some basic rules for storytelling. Like what's that one for screenwriting? If you show a gun in the first act, you need to fire it by the third. Well, House of X, Powers of X showed an entire fucking nuclear arsenal, and they've basically grabbed a slingshot since then. We've not gotten any of the payoffs from that stuff. I mean, we're starting to get some in Hellions. We've gotten a little bit in that X-Men Fantastic Four. But
a little bit in Way of X.
But a lot of that was more retconning away the problems than necessarily. Other than maybe whatever religion comes out at the end of Onslaught Revelations, I feel like that's already been forgotten in here. But regardless, but no, they've basically shown us an arsenal of the future, and we were promised this grand story of the next 1,000 years of mutant kind, and that addressed all kinds of future events, and we were essentially promised a story on how we would get there as the follow-up. So, from mutant expansion into the galaxy in the universe, extinction, hybrids, the phalanx, human technology hybridization, and all the conflict. And we've gotten really none of that so far. The only story that we seem to be getting that have been paid off is this is, at least on the premise here, is the Moira versus Mystique and Destiny kind of conflict from that. So we are getting
Nimrod coming online. We've also got Krakoa and Araco.
Yeah. But we're merely getting like the very, very first steps of any of this stuff. And it's been 2 years already. They haven't made any progress towards that in the slightest bit. And it's, and they used, to even get to the hybrids, they had to do it involving a mutant that didn't even exist until Sword Party X. I feel like this really is an example of violating that screenwriting rule. And they're not using any of the guns that they showed us in scene
studio
1.
interference. We've heard from Jonathan Hickman. We've heard the stories,
but I'm really
excited for Inferno. I'm definitely a customer. We're going to be reviewing every issue right here on the channel. Maybe if it's good enough and Skip goes back and reads that, maybe we'll do some more of the outside the bleed again. We can talk about what all this stuff means. Doc, thank you so much. Do you have a final word or two about Inferno as we wrap this up?
I just want to make sure I want Hickman to touch on and at least explore a little bit more of the stuff from, in addition to the Moira stuff. I really want him to get a little bit of the other stuff from House of X and Powers of X.
We shall see. Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you.